Geraldine Watson. How is thee today?
He's fine, thank you. And Vicky?
Good. Yes, I'm very well, thank you.
Day.
Yes, it is. It is. Just by way of introduction, I'm Vickki Ridgway. I'm a chartered legal executive litigator.
And I'm Geraldine Watson, a family law solicitor.
And together we are Lawfully Yours. So how's it been? How's life been?
Yes, good, isn't
A few weeks since we've seen each other, isn't it, really?
We went to the International Women's
We
Day
did
event.
with
That was
Leicestershire Law
marvellous.
Society. Yes, it was good, actually,
It
wasn't it?
We met Mary and I also forget her husband's name. Was it Peter or Paul? I think it was Paul. Paul.
I think it was Paul. Yes, yes. She's actually said that she'd be happy to come on the podcast, didn't she?
Yeah, she sent me a text. She wants us to get some dates sorted.
Fabulous.
So that's good.
Fabulous. And you had a bit of a go on the karaoke, didn't you?
Oh yeah. Even though I had a sore throat, and then the next day my viral infection came on. But me and Cheetah, what did we sing? Dancing Queen.
You did.
Dancing Queen. Not very well.
I was going to say singing is probably stretching it a little bit, but
But yeah, it was good. It was good.
you were up for it, so that was good.
Nice.
Yeah. Yes, it was. It was. Yeah. Shout out to Audrey's Bar in Leicester.
Yes.
Very good. Very good. Definitely go back there.
And we've both been
we have
nominated. I've been nominated for Solicitor of the Year.
Yes, and I've been nominated for Legal Specialist of the Year of Leicestershire Law Society, and we've got the shortlisting event. I think it's Thursday next week, isn't it?
Thursday to find out if we're going for the awards.
Yeah. So it's brilliant. I went last year. I was nominated last year, just putting that out there. And I actually came, I was highly commended for the awards. But yeah, it's a brilliant event. Sadly, I'm going to be on holiday when the actual awards are there, or are taking place. So I'm going to have to ask you to go up and do my speech. They don't do a speech.
I do a speech on you.
Yeah, but no, yeah. So that I'm looking forward to that. It's really good, I think, just to mingle with local lawyers and of all grades, isn't it? And we met some law students, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. Yeah.
And met some a judge and a barrister. Yeah, so it's just great just to mingle and in the same circles. Isn't it?
And the law students, they're looking to come in our podcast as well.
Which I think would be great because we've been looking for a law student or two, haven't we? Just
help
sort of
them maybe
follow their journey a bit. Yeah.
Yes, that would be good.
Yeah. So what have you been up to otherwise?
Went to Barcelona last week.
Get you.
Which normally I haven't had a proper holiday for a couple of years, as you know, because as a consultant, you haven't really got. It's not the same as being in a firm, isn't it? So you can't just
don't get cover.
Yeah, so you have to sort that out. So I was a bit worried, even though it was only Tuesday to Friday. I was a bit worried about that, but I got someone to look after my emails and stuff like that, and it was so nice just to switch off.
Good for you.
Not even think about work.
Photos look good.
Yeah, it was a lovely place. Yeah, it had lovely weather.
I've only been sort of on a day trip. I was in Spain, and then there was a day trip, so it was beautiful. I'd like to go back.
Yeah, so it was lovely.
Yeah,
it was really nice, and it shows you can do it as a consultant.
Yeah,
even though it was only 4 days.
But I think you have to be kind to yourself, don't you? You have to.
Got to switch off and take that break.
Yeah, because I know you tend to have a lot of kind of breaks where you go to a lodge, but you work, don't you?
Yeah,
so you do sort of mornings out, and then you work.
Yeah.
Which is good, but I think to actually switch off,
have that proper break. What about you?
Oh God, so the house sale has fallen through, so that's a bit of a shitter. I'm not happy about it. No, it's a shitter, Geraldine. Yeah, so I'm gutted about that. We should have been moved by now. We should have been in Norfolk, but you know, it is what it is. We're back on the market. We're just hoping that we. But in better news, I have, as of the 1st of April, officially launched my very own business, Ridgway Farhay Legal Services Limited. That's my maiden name and my married name. Yeah, so I'm loving it, absolutely loving it. So, being my own boss.
Is it a bit nervous? Are you a bit nervous as well, or?
A little bit, because obviously it's all down to me now. It's my responsibility. But I had a good teacher for the past 4 years, and I really do appreciate that. And I learned a lot in terms of running a business and running a caseload. And but yeah, I'm really excited for what's ahead, both in terms of my business and this podcast.
Yeah.
So it's all been all good, apart from the house falling through. But
you'll get that sorted.
It happens for a reason.
Yeah. Everything happens for a reason
yeah.
in life.
So I'm just trying to see the positives. Then over Easter we went to Norfolk because we should have been there. So I thought we'll go, we'll have a nice break, and we didn't, and I loved it. So it was nice. It was nice. Any jazzers to share?
So a few weeks ago we went away to, I think it was York, and I was in the bathroom in the evening, and I saw someone standing to the right of me. I absolutely shit myself.
In the bathroom?
In the bathroom, shit myself. I turned around.
You're in the bathroom.
It was me in the mirror.
Oh, you.
Honestly, I was shaking because I didn't. I was scared. I was just standing there. I was like, oh my God, I can't move. I can't move. I couldn't even shout. And then I turned around and it was just me.
I do worry about you. Honestly,
I worry about me as well.
I do worry about you. My jezza, you were there when I did my jezza. So we did some recording at your house, didn't we, for some shorts for our socials. And Matthew, our social media manager's got some microphones, so we got the microphones on. I said, "Oh, I really need to go to the loo." I said, "You do the bits with Geraldine. I'll just go to the loo." I said, "You won't be able to hear me, will you? Because the toilet was next to the living room, isn't it? It's like downstairs loo." No, it'll be fine. So anyway, I go, come out. You pair are both laughing. I said, "What's the problem?" "Well, you've left your microphones." You literally heard everything. It was.
Yeah.
That's note to self: make sure you take your microphone off, turn it off. So yes,
But
do that
today,
oh my God, I'm so excited for today.
we are joined by a TV celebrity.
We are.
Former detective and who worked undercover.
You did. And according to his
Vickki.
bio,
Yes.
that was until the FBI discovered a plot to murder him.
I know. Wow.
And he had to enter witness protection program. But since then, he's written books, he's presented a show, he's been involved in Hunted. Have you seen that program? You haven't seen that program?
Really. My daughter
love
has,
it.
but I
Love it. Love all those kind of reality programs. So we are delighted to welcome Peter Bleksley.
Hello.
Hello. Afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you
very much for
joining.
Did
you
make
it okay?
Congratulations. Many congratulations on launching your own business.
Thank you.
When I heard you talking about it, it transported me back to quite some years when I was doing a lot of investigative work for a former colleague of mine who'd successfully ran his own private investigations company. And I was doing the work on the ground, going undercover, doing surveillance, all those kind of things. And dare I say it, quite successfully. He was keen to set up a subsidiary of his company.
Right.
So we'd use all his assets, but it would be me and him as a subsidiary. So I agreed and we did it. And it lasted about a year.
Oh.
I was a dreadful business. Absolutely useless at it. I couldn't sit in front of people,
Okay.
price up a job, and then factor in some kind of profit for it. Because
Yeah.
I've been so used to just going
Getting on and doing
it for my wages.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's going to be 3 days at this amount or 10 days at that amount, that kind of thing. When I then had to have this businessman head on it to factor in
It's very different, isn't it?
profit,
Yeah.
margin and all of that, I was absolutely so it didn't last very long. I'm sure yours will last a lot longer.
I hope so.
Be a
Thank
lot more
you.
successful.
I hope so. I hope so. So we've been so excited, haven't we, to welcome you to our podcast.
Yeah.
Geraldine first kind of came across you. Well, you tell the story.
Yeah, so my daughter and I went to watch you at De Montfort Hall doing your show probably about a month ago now, would it be? I can't remember now.
Yeah.
And my daughter loves all that sort of thing. I'm sure if she wanted
True crime and stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure if she wanted to commit a murder, she could easily get away with it, honestly.
So I was invested.
Yes, absolutely.
It went along and it was amazing. Brilliant show. Definitely recommend it. And you obviously spoke about that murder that's not been solved for 20 odd years.
Yeah,
Alistair
Wilson.
That's it. And you said to the audience, if anybody's got any theories or anything, you can contact me on my website. So me and my daughter were chatting about it afterwards, came up with this theory, wrote to you about it, and that's where it came from. Obviously, our theory is wrong, but there you go.
Who knows?
Yes.
Who knows?
And then you agreed to come on our podcast. So
So
that's that.
getting right back, obviously not that far because you're not, right back to when you were at school, and did you always want to be in the police force, or what was your dream job at that time?
Schooling wasn't really for me.
Okay.
I was just naughty, and I was the class clown. I treated it all as a bit of a joke. A matter of some regret, because I think my life may have taken very different turns if I'd focused at school and got myself a decent education. But I didn't, so I left at 16.
You've done all right for yourself, haven't you?
Yeah, I know, but I think it's always important to reinforce that I could have done more and I could have taken a better path, perhaps.
Yeah.
So, I left at 16 and was fortunate to go virtually straight into a full-time job.
Okay. What was that doing?
I was a warehouseman at Woolworths.
Woolies.
Yeah, the wonder of Woolies.
Yeah.
And loved it. Absolutely loved it. Earning my own money. I was living with my mum in a flat in Bexley. My dad had long since cleared off. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. But my mum had loftier ambitions for me than a career of manual labour.
Yeah.
And I came home one night and there was an enormous uniformed police officer sitting in the lounge of the flat that I shared with Mum. A tremendous Beat Bobby community police officer.
Yeah.
And he just sat down and extolled the virtues of a career in policing. Pulled out an application form before he left. Following morning, filled it out, and a few short weeks later, I was a police cadet at Hendon.
Wow.
Crazy.
And that's how it all started.
Good. Thanks.
And how old were you then?
Yeah.
So
17. I joined as a cadet.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then at the age of 18 and a half, went to the other end of the training estate to train as a PC.
Yeah.
So I was on the streets of Peckham by the age of 9 now.
And were you enjoying it?
I loved
Did you?
Oh, I absolutely loved
What did you love about it?
nicking people. Yeah. See them commit a crime or investigate a crime and nick the culprits.
Yeah.
Absolutely wonderful.
So how long were you doing that for? Because I know you think your bio said that you were then promoted to detective. So when were you promoted to detective?
Well, I was in uniform from 78 to 81.
Yeah.
When I had the huge misfortune to answer an urgent assistance call with some colleagues from police officers in Roughton Road in Brixton. It was a neighbouring division.
Yeah.
So we tanked it down there, and that was the start of the Brixton riots.
Wow.
Dreadful, dreadful weekend.
Yeah.
When Brixton, parts of it literally burnt.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people wanted to kill us because of the cloth we wore and what that represented. And it was at the end of that weekend that I just went, nah, that's not my idea of uniform police.
Okay.
I joined for. And I'd happily accept anybody who said, well, you bottled it perhaps, or you, I really don't care. I just decided that
That wasn't
the hatred and the venom of such a huge number of people made me just go, let's get out of uniform. I'd had some approaches beforehand about going on to what was called a crime squad, because that was the progression into becoming a detective. And so I took up that offer, worked in plain clothes, had a selection ball for the CID not long afterwards, and was then a detective.
Oh, wow.
And,
How old were you when you became a detective?
22.
That's really young,
young,
isn't
isn't
it?
Yeah, it was fairly young. Yeah, I was fortunate. And then I got posted to the Royal Borough of Kensington.
Oh, lovely.
Which was rather different from Peckham.
Yeah. Yeah.
And had a great time there, investigating lots of different types of crime, murder. Yeah, it was a fantastic place to police. And then, because they moved you on every 3 years or so, after 3 years at Kensington, I was at a crossroads, either to go for promotion or specialisation. Well, promotion would have meant my head in books for a year.
Yeah.
Not my...
Which you've already said.
Yeah. So I was fortunate enough to be accepted onto the Central Drug Squad at Scotland Yard. Not long after getting posted up there, I started to work undercover, and the next decade was just mad.
So tell us about the undercover work then, because you say, I think in here, you worked undercover. You were an international drug baron, contract killer, trader in arms, counterfeit currency, and handler of high-value stolen goods.
Yeah, all of the above.
So obviously, I mean, you know this because you listen to our podcast, obviously. But Geraldine, you're a budding actor, aren't you? So you're doing some some
At the Curve.
yeah
Curve Community Project.
yeah. So presumably you take on a different person, don't you? You
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. As I say to people, not that I encourage people to lie, but working undercover, it kind of goes with the territory.
Yeah.
The easiest lie to tell is the one that's closest to the truth.
Okay.
So I stuck very close to who I am and what I am. And that enabled me to, because there were other undercover cops, some of whom had been to public school.
Right.
Play the role of being a fine art expert.
Yeah.
And they were brilliant at it. There were other undercover cops that had language skills and would have a specialism of some different, with regards to motor vehicles, for example, and all manner of things, counterfeit currency. But I just stuck to to being me, as closely as I possibly could.
Yeah.
And so it's the easiest character to remember because you're yourself.
Yeah.
And people used to say to me, so when you're not negotiating with the bad guys, when you're not talking about the deal for the guns or the drugs or the counterfeit currency or the hijacked lorry load or plotting the murder with people that want you to go and kill someone, when you're not doing that because you do spend time with them, what do you talk about?
Yeah.
And I said, well, I always talked about the 3 Fs. Fighting, fucking and football. Right? Good. I used to box for the Met Police, so I knew a fair bit about
Right.
I watched and played a lot of football.
Yeah, leave with the one there.
The other one, I just winged the other one.
Oh, Dad's experience. Oh, I love it.
And so, I was a blokey bloke sitting in pubs with criminals, being blokey and organising.
You make it sound so easy, but
yeah, I'm just thinking it might be a stupid question, but when you go undercover, do you have to do they give you somewhere else to live, or how does it actually work, the practicalities of it?
Well, in the early days when I started in my undercover career, it was 1985, and it was very, very unscientific. It was done almost on a kind of, not unofficial, but not an organised basis in any way, shape or form. And we flew by the seat of our pants, literally winged it. But of course, we had so much success, myself and other undercover operatives, that the Scotland Yard realised there was an absolute need to formalise recruiting, vetting, training, the facilities that we had made available to us in terms of documentation. Because so often we would have to wing it if we wanted some false documentation and obtain it howsoever.
I was going to say risk assessments and everything just
didn't exist.
Yeah, no risk assessment.
Yeah.
But what is a risk assessment? Well, seeing as you brought it up, last week I was in Aberdeen for 3 days working on the Alistair Wilson murder, because my work in regards to that is very much an ongoing thing.
Okay.
And I was having a conversation with somebody because I was going to go and knock on the door of somebody that the police were going to arrest in 2023, but they never did for a variety of different reasons.
Right.
So this fella says to me, right, so the bloke whose door you're going to knock on has got previous convictions, one of which is for possession of an offensive weapon. He's been a police suspect for murder. He said, have you risk assessed what you're going to do? I said, risk assess? Yeah, of course it's risky, but I'm going to go and do it.
Yeah.
What, I'm going to go, oh no, no, it might be scary, it might be dangerous. No, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, and it's very different, isn't it? Very different now.
Life is about risk.
Yeah, it says.
If you're a child, you should take risks, because then you learn when you fall off that fence and you graze your arm and you bump your head.
Yeah.
Now, life should involve.
I think it's gone a little bit too extreme the other end.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sanitised.
Wow.
Are you allowed to talk about the Alistair Wilson case?
Oh, happily.
So tell us about that then. Tell us what's the case about.
It was why.
So I don't know anything about this. So tell us.
Okay, it features heavily as the second half of my show, Makings of a Murder of the Undercover Detective, which I'm currently touring around the UK.
You never seen the show.
Yeah, I've got over 100 shows to do, so I'm coming to a theatre near wherever you or members of the audience are. Back in 2005.
Okay.
I was approached by a BBC radio journalist who asked me, was I familiar with the case of Alistair Wilson, Well, I'd read about it, I knew about it, but I hadn't done any in-depth research. He said Radio 5 Live would like me and the radio journalists to travel to Nairn in the Scottish Highlands, where Alistair lived and was murdered, and then report into 5 Live twice a day, once on the breakfast show and once on the drive time show, with our findings, what we were discovering, because it was a massively high-profile case.
Okay, this is obviously after you've left the police.
It was. Oh yeah. I'd left the police. I'd written a couple of books at that stage, including On the Run, about unsolved murders.
Fabulous.
So
getting some plugs in there, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. All my books are available as audio books as well. Well, forgive me. So it's 2005. It's the first anniversary of Alistair's murder,
right?
Which was on the 28th of November 2004. I went up there, and me and this journo had been in Nairn for about half an hour, and I was just utterly convinced that it was a crime that could and should be solved.
Yeah.
And 21 years later, I've not shifted 1 millimetre from that way, I think.
Right.
It really should have been solved, and it's absolutely travesty and a deep stain on the reputation of the police up in Scotland that they haven't managed to solve it. And the case has stuck with me for a number of reasons. Firstly, Alistair was shot on his front doorstep.
Okay.
And when I lived in witness protection, I was terrified of the knock on the door. Okay. Absolutely terrified of it. In fact, to this very day, I hate it when the front doorbell rings. Right? I've still got a thing about it. I don't make it a drama or anything.
No, but inwardly,
and I go and do it, but I never like it, and I always stand side on, and I always open the door with that hand. I've got that hand clenched as a fist, ready in case I've got to have a tear up with someone, and all that sort of stuff. So that kind of chimed for me. At the time of Alistair's murder, he had 2 boys, aged 2 and 4. Mine and my wife's 2 boys are about the same age.
Right.
So I've kind of not felt any guilt, but I've felt such a huge sense of loss to Alistair, because I've had our boys all those years.
Yeah.
And all the incredible fun times and wonderful times we've had. And Alistair, at the age of 30, had his life snuffed out, shot dead on his doorstep.
Gosh.
I also fell in love with Nairn, and that's an ongoing love affair. I love the place, I love the people. And so for a number of reasons, that case has not left me, and I've worked on it ever since, including writing a book about it, and hundreds of articles in the media and all that kind of stuff. And quite literally, last week I was in Aberdeen trying to move my work forward, trying to still do some work on the case. So I'll never give up until one or two things happen. Number one, justice is delivered for Alistair, or I gasp my last.
Okay.
So it's...
I think one of the things Amy and I spoke about was where the person planted the gun.
Yeah.
There wouldn't have been CCTV at that time, would there?
Well, dropped it down a drain.
Where this person was. Because obviously nowadays you would have CCTV, wouldn't you?
Well, there was CCTV in Nairn at the time. One camera which gave a view down Crescent Road. Alistair lived in Crescent Road. Didn't give you his front doorstep, but it may have provided very useful footage if it had been working.
Oh, God.
It was the responsibility of the police to ensure that it worked and to monitor it, and they didn't. They blooming well didn't, and it enrages me. It's almost like somebody didn't want this crime. So.
Yeah.
And you don't agree with us that it was the wife, do you?
No, Veronica Wilson had nothing whatsoever to do with her husband's murder, and to even suggest it and push rumours like that around is reprehensible. She had nothing to do with her husband's murder. Nothing.
Wow.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's gone unsolved for this.
Oh, it's a whole different world. This is the stuff that that we enjoy watching on TV.
Yeah.
But the fact is that you were living this life for real. How did it feel when you say in the bio the FBI discovered a plot to murder me?
That wasn't too much of a problem at the time. It wasn't, because they just knew me as a long-haired Londoner called Peter. They wouldn't have been able to find out any other information about me.
Right.
So that plot was just kind of out there.
Right.
And it wasn't going to impact on me. I was aware of it, but that was fine. the people who were plotting to kill me had been arrested as a result of my undercover work.
Yeah.
And an undercover colleague from the customs. They were awaiting trial. There was a wealth of evidence against them.
Right.
They were thinking if they killed me, they'd kill the evidence.
Yeah.
Little did they know that we recorded a lot of it, and the major stuff had been recorded on video and audio.
Right.
But they weren't to know that at the
Yeah.
time. So it kind of, yes, it was a threat and the plot was out there, but the only way they would have found me is if somebody had corruptly compromised my identity.
Yeah.
In other words, gone to them in prison or one of their associates outside of prison and gone, right, there's his full name, that's his address, you do your bit.
Yeah.
And I was pretty confident that wasn't going to happen. But then the thing that really kind of put a spanner in the works was a deputy assistant commissioner wanted a full report drawn up about this case, the undercover case that had resulted in the biggest consignment of heroin ever seized within the UK being delivered to me in a hotel.
Oh my God.
So it was worth millions. Anyway, it was a complicated case. It involved the DEA, the Drug Enforcement Agency from the States, the FBI, Regional Crime Squad from Scotland Yard, Customs and Excise as they were known then, and the Garda Síochána, the Irish police. And there was a bit of a willy-waggling going on amongst the bosses in all these organisations, as you get in a multi-agency operation sometime. So a Deputy Assistant Commissioner had asked for a full briefing note, a report to be drawn up detailing everything that happened on that operation so he could go in fully armed into a meeting where he was going to go in and bat against these other agencies. That report was compiled, but unfortunately, the author of that report broke the golden rule of undercover policing, which is you never name an undercover operative.
Oh.
You only ever put their undercover number in the report. He put my real name throughout it.
Oh, gosh.
And then he printed it off, put it in a briefcase, took it out of secure police premises in an unmarked car, which he then, if he's to be believed, apparently on the way home, parked the car whilst he went shopping. And guess what happened?
Got back to the car.
That
It was
car
gone.
got broken into.
Oh my God.
So the briefcase got stolen, the report was out. So now we've got the pre-existing plot to kill me, and my identity is undoubtedly in the hands of criminals. If those two things came together, then my life would be in grave danger.
Yeah.
So a decision was fairly hurriedly made that I had to be parachuted into witness protection.
And was that you, your wife, and your children as well?
Me and my girlfriend at the time.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And how long were you in undercover for?
I worked undercover for over 10 years, nearly 11 years.
And then how long were you in
witness protection for 2 years?
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Which was dreadful.
Yeah.
Absolutely appalling. I gradually unravelled during it.
Yeah.
I paid a bit because it wasn't a home, it was a hideout.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was never at home. It was just a hideout where I had to live in a completely false identity just to hopefully avoid the assassin's bullet in the back of my head.
Yeah.
They still wanted me to work. The Met wanted me to work. They wanted me to work undercover still. And I did all of that and I tried to hold it together, but I'd come home at night and play a significant part in my own downfall because until the early hours of the morning, I'd be sitting there conspiracy theorising.
Yeah.
Why was my name in that report? How on earth did it get stolen? What the hell am I doing here? And I did that through the bottom of an empty glass.
Yeah.
And then I'd refill it and go again.
Yeah.
So I drank too much, I smoked too much. I unravelled and unravelled and unravelled. And then became dreadfully, desperately ill. And was through friends and family. You really find out who your friends are.
Yes.
They hatched a plot to get me into a vehicle because I'd become a danger to myself and to others. They got me in a car, drove me to an NHS hospital, locked all the doors, of course. And I was immediately admitted into a lock-in psychiatric ward.
Wow.
And where I stayed for 3.5 weeks. And that was kind of really the beginning of the end of my police career.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing that. That's really brave. I mean, it's. I think we see the glamour of it, I guess, and the excitement of it, but the reality of it with you living with that on a daily basis is completely different. Who made the decision then that you could come out of witness protection? Was that and how safe did you feel then?
Yeah.
Well, I left witness protection via the lock-in psychiatric
Okay.
ward.
Yeah.
And during my recovery process, psychiatrist said to me, if you want to get better, Peter, you have to stop being other personalities.
Yes.
You've got to be
Yes.
Peter Bleksley. You've got to stop being these other people. And of course, my health was my priority. I kind of put my health before my safety.
Yeah.
And he said, well, you can't go back to living in witness protection, all of that. So in that regard, I kind of abandoned that decision anyway, because my health came first.
It has to, doesn't it? Yeah.
And then a couple of years later, when I was eventually medically retired from the police, I found myself, as I saw it, on the scrap heap of life. No great education to fall back on, no trade.
Yeah.
I can't rewire your house, mend your fence, or do anything. I'm utterly hopeless in that regard. So I thought, well, I've got some really good stories to tell, and a bit of an axe to grind with my previous employer. So I'll see if I can write a book.
Wow.
I took my synopsis to a publisher, and he went, this is great, Peter. We'll write this book. We'll do this book. There's a contract. Now go away and write it. And as publication arrived, we had to make a decision. Do I publish in a pseudonym, which I really didn't want to do?
Yeah.
Or do I publish in my real name?
Because you're literally putting yourself back out there.
Yeah.
Here I am, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So the publisher wrote to the Met and said, we want a current threat assessment carried out on Peter. And the Met came back sometime later and said, we can find no current threat against him.
Okay.
So I went, well, right, we'll do it as Peter Bleksley then.
Wow.
And of course, I've been Peter Bleksley ever since in all the books and plays and everything that I've done. I was told some years later, because there was a gap between the operation that led to the drugs being delivered to me at Gatwick and the file being stolen, and me writing the book, there was a gap of some years. And what happened in the ensuing time was the Good Friday Agreement.
Okay.
And you may remember that I said there was the involvement of the Garda Síochána.
Yeah.
Way back when. I was told by a retired senior officer, and I've never been able to corroborate it, but he just said, Peter, you've got the Good Friday Agreement. Thanks for being alive.
Wow.
So that may or may not be true.
When you worked undercover, what was the longest period of time you were in one role for, would you say?
6 months.
That's a long time.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you go undercover and meet a bloke one day and the job will be done and done the next day. And other times it would take weeks or months.
Yeah.
But in that role, I was running a transport company. We set up a completely fictitious transport company. You know, with the premises and the trucks and the drivers and all that kind of stuff. And we were just facilitating a load of criminals who were smuggling huge quantities of drugs in and furniture.
It's just the whole of the world.
It's mad, isn't it? It's mad. Like you say, you watch it on the TV, you don't think about it and the real life experience of someone actually going through that. It's just madness, isn't it?
How did you become involved in The Hunted and what was your involvement in that?
Well, when my autobiography, The Gangbuster, was published in 2001, I was very fortunate. There was a BBC drama series on at the time called Murphy's Law. Starring Jimmy Nesbitt.
Yeah.
And they'd done 2 series of it, but it was really a cartoon caricature of undercover policing, because one week he'd be a brain surgeon, next week he'd be a nun or something. You know, it was dreadful. And the BBC had said to the production company, we'll commission this 3rd series, but if you really don't get your act together, that's it, we're going to can it.
Right.
And they had a team of writers on it, because it was 6 episodes per series. And at one of the meetings, one of the writers said, I've just read this new book by this bloke who worked undercover. If we're going to write a book about an undercover cop, we've got to get him on board. So I was approached, went on and worked with them. And of course, I was doing media work that had started when I was publicising the book, giving media outlets invited me back to comment on crime and policing. So I had a bit of a media profile anyway. And when Hunted was just an idea on a blank page, can we film a manhunt?
Yeah.
That was the question that a TV executive had come up with. They started looking at people that might be suitable to go on the show. So I got a phone call.
Wow.
You come and meet us. So I went and met them, did a bit of an audition tape. And yeah, was recruited. In the first series, I was a deputy, but the chief of that series got binned off, and rightfully so. And then I was chief for another 5 series.
Wow.
3 of the main show and 2 celebrity versions.
Yeah.
So I had a good time.
Yeah. Fabulous.
Let's have a look. I think we've dealt with some of those. So where would you say is the legal line with undercover work, and how far can you actually go?
Agent provocateur. Yeah, an expression, a legal expression I'm sure you're familiar with. And in essence, my understanding of it and my interpretation of it and how I would describe it to new recruits to undercover policing is that you can't cajole, bully, coerce, or force anybody into doing something that they otherwise would not do.
It's a very fine line, though, isn't it? Because your role surely
it's
is
not
to
fine.
encourage them to open up to you and to.
No, it's not a fine line at all.
Okay.
It's crystal clear. You don't get them to do something they wouldn't ordinarily do.
You want them to
So
do.
you just focus on the criminality that you believe they are up to, or they tell you they are about. I'll give you an example, if I may.
Please, yeah.
Of a case. There was a young fella. I mean, I was young. I was probably in my 30s, and he was in his 20s, and he was desperate to sell me 5 kilos of cocaine.
Right.
At a wholesale price of £20,000 per kilo, so it was 100 grand or thereabouts. And he was desperate to get this trade done. Really, really desperate. I had an inkling from the early days that actually he didn't have the capability to do this.
Right.
That he was trying to climb the ladder of the drug dealing world by doing this first big deal. And it got to the point where he essentially wanted to take the £100,000 and then return with the drugs. Well, of course.
As you do.
But yeah. Like I'm ever going to let that happen. And that's because, of course, those who were sitting above him in the chain, who probably had the control of those quantities of drugs, were not going to release it to this youngster who could probably lose it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, when things like that happen in the drugs world, very, very bad things happen.
Yeah.
So eventually, I'm sitting in a pub with this youngster, and he's brought his girlfriend, right? And his girlfriend is nursing a newborn baby.
Oh, gosh.
It's just a matter of weeks or months old.
Yeah.
And she's over there in the pub, and me and him are having a drink. And I'm saying, look, this is not going to happen. Let's all just walk away from here, okay? Nobody's had a fallout. Let's just leave it be. He turned around and said, look, Peter, he said, I promise you I will come back with the 5 kilos. He said, so when you give me the 100 grand, we are going to leave you our baby.
Oh, my God.
As collateral.
Oh, my God.
Right? So you stay here. He said, we'll be no longer than an hour. There's a bottle.
Wow.
Right? And you keep our baby. Right? I turned around to him. Now, please remember that I'm working undercover as a major drug dealer.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Yeah.
So I said to him, oh, right, okay. I said, so after an hour, you've not come back. Right? And I'm getting rather cross. I said, and then after 2 hours, you've not come back. And you've still got my 100 grand. I said, and then after 3 hours, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to wring that baby's fucking neck and throw it in a skip. I said, and I don't want to have to do that.
Yeah.
So this is over.
Oh, you're scaring me.
Yeah. So I said, so this is over.
Yeah.
It's nonsense. It's over. And he was looking at me. Well, I said, yeah, I'll wring his neck and throw it in a skip. He should in his face.
No.
Of course, I've never wring a baby's neck.
No.
Throw it in a skip. I'm the father of 3. I get all broody with us and babies still. You know what I mean? So that was that. So I get back to the yard, yeah? And one of the superintendents comes thundering down the corridor, right? And he says, well, Blex, you really fucked that job up, didn't you? And I said, I beg your pardon, Governor. I said, I most certainly did not. I said, that young man was overreaching.
Yeah.
He was stretching beyond what his capabilities were. And that's why he offered me the baby as collateral. In the normal run of things, that is not the kind of criminality he's capable of doing. I said, so if I tried to facilitate that in some way, shape or form, I would have been acting as an agent provocateur.
Yeah.
I said, and I sincerely hope that I've given him such a shock that the young man reassesses his life and goes and ends an honest pound note.
Bloody hell. Crikey. Wow. Wow.
So, yours.
No, go on.
Okay.
Have you
Where?
up there? Look. Have you?
Oh, yeah. Have you ever felt empathy for someone you were investigating?
Whilst working undercover?
Or in any aspect?
No.
No?
No.
Some of the people that I went undercover against were great fun. Real witty, charming, gentlemanly, really good fun and great company. And I often thought if they turned their talents and their personality to do it something straight, they'd have been very successful at whatever they turned their hands to. But even as I would act like I liked them, and I may have had some degree of sort of affection for his characters, you know. Yeah. So they were adults, they were grown-ups, and they chose to do what they were doing.
No matter what the...
So I was thinking the circumstances leading to, like that young lad you spoke about, maybe he'd had a tough life and that was the only way he felt he could provide for his family. Some people just sort of get dragged into it, don't they?
He'd fathered a child.
Yeah.
Park his sympathy elsewhere. I'm not having that.
No.
Right? What, he's going to pay up for his child's upbringing by being a cocaine dealer?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
No, he should think himself very lucky.
I think that's why, or I think that's probably one of the traits you need to have as a police officer or someone in that position, because I know I would be a bit like, oh yeah, I understand why you've done it now. Not making it right, but I wouldn't be very good.
No.
There's too much empathy and fluffiness and
I agree.
all that sort of game.
Yeah.
Criminal justice system.
Yeah.
No. It's actually quite simple. You've broken the law.
Yeah.
So there has to be,
consequences.
firstly, a punishment
and
a deterrent to others. Sadly, we lack deterrent massively.
I agree with that. And there's again, going back to the TV programmes you watch, predominantly in London, where all the gangs and everything, and if you're living in a really poor area, they don't have a choice. Well, they do have a choice, but they feel like they don't have a choice. They feel like they've got to go into that sort of lifestyle.
Kind of.
If they lived somewhere else, they'd be a different person.
No, not having it. Not having that. No.
Minute.
Where's the parenting?
Yeah.
Where's the school? Where's the school instilling discipline?
Yeah.
Where are the parents instilling discipline? Oh, discipline, dirty words.
Oh, God, I know.
Dirty words.
Honestly.
Can't say that.
Yeah.
My kids were all disciplined.
Yeah.
My wife would say actually they had boundaries. Well,
Yeah.
I call it discipline. My wife calls it boundaries. And
I think boundaries that they respect, they understand. Whereas I think nowadays there's a tendency to go over those boundaries, but there be no consequences.
That's it.
Yeah. Boundaries that if you cross them, I will be extremely angry and a punishment will be applied. I'm not talking about whacking them.
No, that's not the answer.
Any of that nonsense.
That's not the answer.
But I am absolutely talking about you will be punished.
Yeah.
You cross that boundary. You break the rules. It's
there for a reason.
Then there will be a sanction.
Yeah, absolutely. During your work as in the police force, did you work closely with any of the prosecutors on the cases that you'd investigated, or is it a case of this is where we're at, you take it now?
I tended to work more closely with defence barristers.
Because
what actually would happen. Now, this is before the days of disclosure rules.
Yeah.
Okay, it's before RIPA, the Regulatory Investigative Powers Act, and all of that. Right, so it was very different. But what would happen is, because we could get away with it. It was all perfectly legitimate.
Yeah.
Tactics. They would go to court invariably. Say I'd been undercover, right? And the bloke delivers the parcel of drugs or guns or whatever it is to me, you know, in the back of a car or something in a street, you know, or in a pub car park or in a hotel, wherever it may be. I give a prearranged signal,
Right.
okay? And then cops come out of everywhere as the arrest team. They nick them, seize whatever commodity it is, and I'm usually legging it down a road, right, or over a car park or fence and all that kind of game. That's generally speaking how it used to work. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And so the officer's evidence in the case would start at, on day, date, time, place, as a result of information received, we were at, and we did that.
Yeah.
Okay? Sometimes an officer might say, yeah, and I chased a bloke 6 foot tall of medium build with a ponytail down the road and out of sight. Right? But then when it goes to court, so we'd be at the Old Bailey. Well, I wouldn't anywhere near court. I'd be waiting on the end of a phone. They'd go to the Old Bailey or go to Crown Court, wheresoever it may be in the country. And they said, okay, so what is your client or clients going to plead today? And they'd say, not guilty, not guilty. Okay. Oh, okay, right. Have some of that. And then they give them my statement.
Right.
And of course, I'd been negotiating with them sometimes for weeks, sometimes for months.
But of course, they wouldn't know about that until that statement is handed over.
They might suspect it, but they're playing a game and we were playing a game.
Yeah.
So it was an ambush. I was an ambush witness, if you want.
Yeah.
You know, we have ambush defence.
Yeah.
And from defence teams, you were still allowed to get away with it. There's still a huge imbalance on that front. But yeah, so we just then ambush them with my statement. Now, a lot of the time, it would make them go, oh, right, the game's up. Right, we'll plead guilty or we'll cave in. But sometimes, not all the time, they would go not guilty. And some very, very sharp lawyers would really give it a run.
Yeah.
I'd end up getting called to give evidence if they pleaded not guilty, of course, because we served the statement.
Yeah.
That would sometimes be in a pseudonym, and we'd apply for me to give evidence in a pseudonym. But there was one counsel that I locked horns with so regularly that he knew my style of writing. He used the language I knew. So he'd get served a statement in a pseudonym. He'd read the first couple of pages. You go, oh, is Mr. Bleksley appearing for the Crown later on today? You know, and that, well, it depends what your client does. You know. But as I say, sometimes they'd plead not, and other times. So, and we had a really mutually respectful position with defence counsel. I mean, at one point, a case got slung out, and I got reported for contempt of court to the DPP.
Wow.
By a pathetic, weak-willed idiot of a judge at Croydon Crown Court. And the case got slung because I would not answer certain questions from the same defence counsel I just mentioned.
Yeah.
He was going on a fishing exercise, as I saw it, trying to establish who the informant was.
Okay.
Because the defence knew if they get to the informant, we'll throw in the towel.
Yeah.
Right? Just to save the informant being identified in court.
Yeah.
And he was going on a fishing exercise. And I just refused to answer certain questions from him. The judge ordered me to answer the questions, and I still refused. It was 5 days of legal wrangling and me in and out of the witness box and all that kind of stuff. In the end, the judge went absolutely mental at me, acquitted the defendants, and called me back into the court. So the defendants are all outside, whooping and hollering outside the court. I get called back into court. And the judge says to the prosecution counsel, right, I now hold DC Bleksley in contempt of court. And counsel stood up and said, well, you know, what are you going to do? Is he going to have bail? And the judge said, no. And I'm thinking, my word, I'm going to go down the steps here now.
Yeah.
He said, no, I'll send it to the DPP for him to make a decision. So that's what happened.
Gosh.
So, and in the end, the director of public prosecutions just went, no.
Yeah.
No point.
Yeah.
Prosecuting me for that. But when I came out of the court, right, and one of the defendants, still remember his name, Reggie Jones, he was a really likeable South London criminal. Him and the others, they're all celebrating outside the court. And Reggie Jones called out to the detective inspector in charge of the case. He goes, "Oi." He goes, Simpson, his name was. Reggie Jones goes, "Oi, Simpson." He says, that Peter Bleksley, he said, "he's a lot better than your informants." And Simpson turns around and said, "Why is that?" And he said, "At least Bleksley keeps his mouth shut."
Oh, wow.
It's brilliant, isn't
And off they went. They invited us down the pub, funnily enough. Funnily enough,
You didn't
I
wanna go?
declined that
No.
invitation. Went to a different boozer instead.
Oh, God.
So, do you believe, this is one of the questions that I'm quite interested to hear what your answer is. Do you believe that the justice system in the UK leans more in favour of the suspects or the victims?
Suspects. Because suspects' rights
Yes.
are governed by law.
Yeah.
We do not have a victim's law.
Absolutely.
And it's an absolutely filthy, dark stain on the criminal justice system.
I think
that we don't.
I think that that goes across the legal system as a whole, doesn't it? Because we've talked before about Geraldine's a family lawyer, so you talk about domestic abuse and stuff like that, and how unbalanced it is in favour of the perpetrator as opposed to the victim, and it just doesn't sit comfortably. So I think that's probably true across the whole of the legal system, isn't it?
It just needs to shake up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It needs more than that. It needs legislation. We've got victims' codes, but there's no sanction if you don't abide by a victims' code. None at all.
Yeah.
We need the police, we need everybody within the criminal justice system to be bound by law to do what needs to be done for victims.
Absolutely.
And, of course, secondary victims, if we're talking about murder cases where we've got wives and children and all that.
And I don't understand why that isn't the case anyway.
No.
You know, why we're having to have this conversation at all.
And we've got victims commissioners and victims codes and all that kind of game. It's 2026. We should have had a victims' rights bill on the statute book a very long time ago, and we still haven't. We've got this law and that law that are named after murder victims usually, and have brought in a greater obligation upon somebody within the criminal justice to do something. But we do not have victims' rights enshrined under an umbrella piece of legislation, and we should have.
Yeah, absolutely, we should.
Yeah. So probably no on this one then. How accurate would you say crime documentaries and TV portrayals are of undercover work?
Well, there's good and bad, isn't there? I've seen some and worked on some very, very good crime drama, which has often been accurate and firmly anchored in reality. And I've watched some crime documentaries that are just drivel. Of course, there's a huge market for it now.
Yeah.
Everybody loves a bit of true crime until they become the victim.
Yeah.
And that's fine if people have a fascination with it. It's fine. And in fact, I feed that frenzy because the second half of my show is all about my work, my ongoing work in Alistair Wilson, and I want people to engage and send me their thoughts and views, and then some of them invite me on podcasts. So I want all of that.
Yeah.
Because they're often, and so many people have contacted me after the show and sent some really kind of thought-provoking theories in. Of course, you get some which I've already explored and put out.
Yeah.
But it's deeply flattering that somebody not only parts with their hard-earned money to come and watch my show, but then wants to reach out and write to you after they've seen it. And of course, I've been hugely fortunate in that some people with professional qualifications have offered their help. I've had a linguistics expert analyse Veronica Wilson's 999 call, which I now incorporate into the show. It wasn't there, I think, when you came to see it, so the show is evolving. I've had a behavioural analyst offer to look at some video recordings that I've got. And many very interesting.
This is one of the things that fascinates me about some of the work that I do. So I deal with litigation, and it's obviously on a much smaller scale than what you're talking about, but we get input from different types of experts, and it's amazing the stuff that they can determine from these documents that you can give to them. And it just then all seems to sort of fall into place and bring it all together. And that's what I find fascinating about these documentaries that you were talking about. You know, the fact that obviously we know the end story, we actually know what happened because it's been solved, but it's how they get to that point. Because I always think that there's on Sunday there was an incident in Leicester, and somebody's been arrested for that. Some poor chap was killed. And it just, for me, it's like how quickly that has developed. So this guy died on the Sunday, and this guy now is in custody, and it just fascinates me how the intelligence within the police force gets to that point so quickly. And I think that's what fascinates me about these documentaries, like 24 Hours in Police Custody and that sort of thing. It just So, other than the case of Alistair, is there any other case that's stuck in your mind as something that will always stay with you? I mean, I presume you've seen lots of things, but is there any other particular case that has stayed with you?
First of all, I just have to point out that with yourself operating in the world of litigation, the level of proof you're going for is going to be based on a balance of probabilities.
That's right. You're beyond reasonable doubt.
When I was a detective and we're trying to prove a case, the evidential threshold is
very much higher.
Much higher.
Yeah.
As it should be.
Yes.
Because you're talking about people's liberty.
Sure.
So that's absolutely right. In answer to your questions, yes, a number. Kevin Parle is wanted for the murder of 16-year-old Liam Kelly and 23-year-old mother of 3 young children, Lucy Hargreaves. I spent 4 years of my life trying to find Parle, unsuccessfully, of course. Liam and Lucy's murders are, well, stick with me. Other cases in here, Wayne Trotter, Les Bate, cases that have still not been solved and very much should do. But they're all cases that I've researched and written about or broadcast about after being in the police.
Right, so not ones that you were actually involved. Okay.
I didn't work on many cases, in many murder cases in the police, and those I did, I solved, and they're in the show.
Okay.
2 very different types of murder, but solved nonetheless. So there's nothing that haunts me from my policing days as could we have done it differently? Should we have done it better? I still have sleepless nights.
Yeah. Okay.
None of that. But yeah, many cases that I've researched and written about and broadcasted about since leaving, will still stick with me.
I'm going to go on Amazon when I get home. I'm going to literally order all of your books. I am, seriously. Or I might even do it in the car. I might download them as on audio.
Well, yeah.
Might do
I
that.
prefer physical books, though.
I do, but
old school. I just like a book.
like the feel of it.
Yeah.
There is something beautiful
About a book.
There is.
about holding it, turning a page, thinking, right, now what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Rather than just listening to it. I think you can get involved more reading it. And I always say a good book is where when you're reading it, you feel part of it.
Yeah.
And everything
get
else
lost
just goes.
in it.
Yeah, whereas listening to it, I don't think it has the same impact.
But I narrate all my books.
Right.
Because they're written in a first person narrative. They're about
Yeah.
other theories. If I spoke to
Yeah.
someone, I did that. And somebody contacted me the other week and said, the best thing about listening to your audio books, said, is I envisage that I'm sitting in the pub with you.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Telling me the story.
Yeah.
So that's nice.
You do have that
He has got that
voice.
kind of voice, isn't he?
Yeah, there's only like a few people on TV. So you've got Liam Neeson.
Yeah.
And then, I can't think of that chap's name. He's been in a lot of crime programs. I can't remember his name.
But no,
and you've got the same sort of voice, easy to listen to, sort of really engaging voice. So I can imagine the audios are quite good.
Absolutely.
Apart from the time you was undercover, would you say your time in the police affected your personal life and relationships?
Oh, hugely. Well, of course, and I can't not mention the time undercover because, of course, that's what led me to going into witness protection, which was the end of my police career. And when you asked earlier, who did I move into witness protection with, that was with the current girlfriend of the time.
Yeah.
And as I unravelled in witness protection, I became a monster.
Okay.
And she perfectly understandably couldn't handle that any longer.
Yeah.
And so she left, and she did the right thing. And I, to this day, very much regret that she had to go through that experience. It should never have come to that. There should have been some kind of alternative. It wasn't thought out. There was no long-term plan. There was no support. And consequently, there was a lot of hurt and upset.
Casualties on the way.
Yeah.
And you were telling us earlier that you're married.
Yes.
You're married for 30 years, and you said you got 3 children?
Yeah, I've got an older son from a previous relationship. It wasn't a marriage. Back when I was even more immature than I care to remember. And then 2 with my wife.
Okay.
2 boys, 3 boys in total.
And when you met your wife, were you out of the police force then?
No, I met her not long before I had my complete meltdown.
Right.
I met her during a period of lucidity.
Okay.
When I was quite well.
Yeah.
But not long after that came my catastrophic meltdown. And of course, my dear mum, who's 97 and still with us.
Wow.
So I turned around to Sarah at the time and said, look, you don't have to be here.
Yeah.
You don't have to go through this. That was in the lock-in psychiatric ward. And she said, but you really don't have to be here.
Yeah.
No one will think bad of you.
No, absolutely not.
And 31 years later, we're still together.
Wow.
So I'm extremely lucky that she stayed.
Fabulous.
What advice would you give to anyone thinking joining the police?
Do it.
I thought you were going to say don't. We say don't.
We say don't. Yeah.
You say do it. Yeah.
Do it. I know it's changed.
Yeah.
I know that management will throw you under the bus. I know that most senior police officers these days are only interested in climbing the next rung of that promotion ladder. And I know they won't support you. They're useless. They're woke. They're fluffy. They're liberal. They've got no experience of what the job is. And they'll throw you under the bus. And there's a mad purge going on at the moment. I know all of that. But policing will have to get better. It simply has to, or else it's going to cease to function.
You know, my worry. So I've got 2 daughters and a granddaughter. And obviously, as you're growing up, you see things change and evolving and stuff. And when I used to go out in town or whatever, having a drink, you'd see altercations and stuff. But it'd be a bit of a verbal spat. It'd be a punch or two.
Yeah, and that'd be it.
Yeah.
Now it's knives, it's guns. It seems to be completely lawless in many respects. My worry is that becoming a police person in today's society, you're literally putting yourself out there at risk every single day, more so than ever, I think now.
I'm glad you put it more so than ever, because we were still very much at risk.
Oh, I mean, you talked about the bricks.
I got assaulted plenty of times, stabbed in the neck.
Oh my God.
I've taken hostage when working undercover, lived in witness protection, stared down the wrong end of the barrel of a gun on a number of times, and I'm very, very fortunate to still be here. Yes, police officers are being assaulted in record numbers, but something's going to have to be done about that. And policing is going to have to rediscover its spine.
Yeah.
But that's only going to happen when we get this generation of pathetic, woke, fluffy, liberal police leaders doing the jobs that they should be doing. And I would suggest that should be social work and not police work, because that's what they're best qualified to do. When we get them out of policing, we will start to have leaders that will support their frontline troops. And I have an expression which I use sometimes in the media, because as you probably gathered this afternoon, I don't really give a damn. And when I mention it to police officers, they balk, right? And I understand they balk at my language, but when I explain to them what I'm talking about, you can see them looking in my eyes and going, this bloke's talking sense. My phrase is, when it comes to police officers being assaulted, get your revenge in first. Right?
Okay.
The law still allows police officers to use force, of course, as long as it is proportional and necessary. And reasonable.
Yeah.
So I tell them about my days And I say, if I'm in a very tense situation, number one, I never stood face on to anybody, right? Always side on. So your target is smaller. And it also gives you greater purchase because I'm an ex-boxer. So, knowing how to throw a right hander does help. And if I'm in a tense situation and somebody is standing there arguing with me and I've tried to diffuse it and they're not having it and they're escalating it and then their hand comes out of their pocket, I am not going to wait to see what that hand does. I'm absolutely not. And I will go to court. If I break his jaw because I punch him, I will go to court and I will explain to a jury why I did what I did. I got my revenge in first. I know it's clumsy language.
No,
say
but
that
it's,
court.
yeah, we know what
But
you mean.
I was not going to stand there and wait to see what the result of that hand coming out of that pocket was. Because action is half a second quicker than reaction. So if they go like that, they've got a head start. And then it could be that. And then it could be over for me.
Yeah.
It was reasonable. It was necessary. I introduced him to the pavement. He was cuffed. I love that. And we did what was necessary. Too many police officers are being assaulted because they are terrified of using force lawfully. They've got pathetic leaders, pathetic
Have you ever thought
bosses.
about being Prime Minister?
No. There's too many skeletons in my cupboard. The media would have a field day with me.
I think probably this question is probably you've just answered it. So if you have the power to change one thing about the justice system overnight, what would it be?
Victims' law.
Yeah. And then the final question, Geraldine.
I don't know.
Is justice always the same as the law in your experience? I don't think it is it? No.
Absolutely not. Sometimes I think there is natural justice. Sometimes, we've all seen it. We've seen somebody
karma.
running. Karma. Now, I'm not a man of faith. No. I'm not a spiritual person, but I so believe in karma. If you live your life as a decent person and you are giving to others selflessly and without expecting reward, and I'm just talking about helping that lady at the escalator with her bag, holding the door open. But I don't care if I get some kind of snotty woman with blue hair like sneering at me because I've held it after you, madam. I don't care. I really don't care. It's what I love about travelling on public transport so much, which is what I do when I'm not on tour. I've always got an opportunity to help someone with their buggy that's got a baby or a toddler in it, with their luggage, after you, all that kind of stuff, from the elderly, etc., people with disabilities. If you push out good stuff,
it'll come back to you.
Then greater things are going to happen. And if you live your life as an absolute shitbag, you thieve, you rob, you steal, you don't give a damn, you break the law, you might get away with it. You might get away with it 1,000 times. You may never get punished as suitably as you should do. But you know what? If you run around being an arsehole all your life, you ain't going to have an happily ever after.
Absolutely.
You really aren't.
Absolutely.
Won't be like that. Guaranteed.
What do you do in your spare? Do you have spare time? What do you do in your spare time?
I go and watch Queen's Park Rangers football club.
You?
Yeah. Okay. And I go for a drink either with my family or my mates.
Do you get recognised out in the public much?
Yeah, I do.
Do you?
Yeah. I wouldn't say a lot, but yeah. And people are always lovely.
Yeah.
They're always really, really lovely. And if they want a selfie or an autograph or a natter.
Talking about autographs, so we have this book of yours. Is this which number book is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
2.
Number 2.
Yeah.
So you've very kindly signed this for us, haven't you?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, tell us what our listeners need to do to be in with a chance of winning. Can you remember? To like.
I thought I was going to ask a competition question. No, they got to like, share, and follow.
Like, share, and follow our podcast.
Like, share, and follow
and then Geraldine and I will choose a winner at random, and we'll arrange to send that book to them.
Okay, thank you.
Fabulous, thank you.
And what's the name of your show that you're touring with at the moment, just so our listeners know?
Okay, The Makings of a Murderer, The Undercover Detective.
Yeah.
And if you go to entertainers.co.uk, all the list of the remaining shows are there. And as we speak, I've done 51 shows. I've got 104 more to do between now and the end of November. So I'll be coming to a town near you.
Fabulous.
And I can personally recommend it.
I'm going to have a look
brilliant.
and absolutely. I mean, I've been fascinated, and I know we could literally, I could just sit and listen to you and ask you question after question after question, because it's fascinating. But I am going to get your autobiography. I am going to read that, and I will, with your permission, give you some feedback on that, and
Thank you.
you know,
Please do.
probably have loads more questions for you.
It's been an absolute joy,
honestly, we've
and I'd
loved
be
it.
very happy to return it.
And thank you. And I'm glad that you actually made it to us, because there was a little bit of a hiccup, wasn't there?
He's not mentioned it, has
Well,
he?
lawyers and attention to detail. That's right, isn't it? What happened, Peter?
All my life, I've told aspiring cops, serving cops, particularly detectives, the devil resides in the detail.
Thank you, Vickki.
It's where the devil can be found. Attention to detail is absolutely critical.
Shall we just leave it there?
So on my way here, I followed slavishly the sat-nav, going to the postcode that I had been provided.
And we seem to think you might have ended up somewhere close to where Geraldine lives.
And in this day and age of increasing fuel prices,
Oh, I know.
I was not happy burning lots of fuel unnecessarily, but we got over it.
We did. We got her in the
And
end.
there's compensation for that. What have you got for him?
Oh,
Geraldine?
yes. We have got this lovely goodie bag for you.
Oh, my word.
Your wife will
Thank
probably
you.
enjoy some of this.
Easter egg in there for you.
Goodness
Say thank you very
me.
much for coming on
that
our
is
show.
very kind of you.
Lots of
Thank
goodies
you.
in
It
there.
has been
Wow.
fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you
very
so much.
So we've come to the part in the podcast now. Every podcast we do 2 laws, one of which is true, one is false, and then we reveal the answers in the next show, don't we?
Yep.
So this is your opportunity to see whether
Have a guess at which is true and false.
yes.
Yes.
So the first one from our last podcast. So if a tenant has not paid their rent, as a landlord, I can change the locks. Is that true or false?
And then my
Or-
question is, in Connecticut, a pickle cannot be sold unless it bounces. That's according to the Food Safety Act 1948.
Which of those do you think is right?
False, true.
Switcheroo.
Correct.
Really?
Well done. Yes, well done. Bang on.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, so it's a criminal offence under the Protection from Eviction Act 1971. You can't just change the locks. It'd been an unlawful conviction.
And the reason for
Fiction.
the pickle thing is because if it doesn't bounce, it's unfit for human consumption.
There you go. I've dropped a few gherkins wherever we burn them out. Wherever we
I
get
thought
one
you
out
were
of the
gonna
jar.
say that.
I'm going to sound like a real poshy, yeah? But one of my favourite sandwiches is brie and sliced jerky with black pepper. So, yeah, when I'm... It's
Do a little bit
difficult.
brie.
You stick your fork in to try and get a...
They're slippery
Work
suckers,
it out.
aren't they?
Yeah.
They are.
So I've seen them bounce, and I know they've been suitable for human consumption.
Right, so,
So our
we've got
two
two-
new laws.
Yeah, you go first then.
Okay, so it is illegal to stand within 100 yards of the monarchy with no socks on. That's the Regency Act 1937.
We're not going to reveal the answer till the next one, but you can
Yeah.
have a guess.
And then yours.
And then mine is, okay, under the Metropolitan Police Act 1839, it is a punishable offence to persistently knock on doors or ring bells and run away. So your old knock door run. So you can have a guess, but we're not going to tell you until the next episode. So which do you think is true? Which do you think is false?
Now, the Metropolitan Police Act of 1839, I would be across that, I would imagine. I should have been at some point in my career. And it's knockdown ginger we're talking about.
Ah, we call it knock door run.
Right. No, yours is false. There's no such law as that.
Okay.
And yours, it's false as well.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
What if people are sunbathing on the beach and the king has a walk down the promenade? Surely you can't definitely think. No, for having a paddle, you got no socks on.
Love it. Love it.
Wow.
Geraldine, the thought for the day.
Yes, so this is what we end with. A thought for the
Geraldine
day.
shares her wisdom.
Yes, it's not my wisdom, but
Well, yeah.
so your brain is tiny compared to your body, but it's I can't even read my own writing. I'll start again. Your brain is tiny compared to your body, but it is so energy. Oh, but it is so energy hungry. It burns a fifth of energy to consume, just to keep thinking. Even though your brain uses about 20% of your energy, it only weighs about 2% of your body weight. So when you're thinking, remembering, and making decisions, these are expensive for your body. Even when resting, even when resting, your brain is still one of your biggest energy consumers. That's why mental fatigue can feel as real as physical exhaustion.
Yeah, absolutely.
The thought for the day.
100%.
Even though I'm mumbled and didn't get
Talked
through it.
about breasts.
Yeah.
Breasts. As you do.
Anyway,
As you do. Well, that's
Thank
been
you
us
so
for
much.
today. We are on all your social media platforms. That's Instagram, Facebook,
TikTok-y.
Geraldine and I are both on LinkedIn. You can contact us by email at lawfullyyourspod.co.uk. At Gmail.
lawfullyyourspod@gmail.com.
There we go. Yeah, thank you. Or reach out to us through any of our what's it?
Social media.
Yes, I'm in awe of you, Pete.
know,
Honestly,
brilliant,
I've
isn't it?
been blown away today.
Brilliant.
So thank you so much for joining us. I'm going to look at your show. I'm going to order your book. And
You've got a new fan here.
absolutely.
Marvellous. Well, thank you.
Absolutely. Don't forget to like, share, and follow, particularly this episode, because
So you
we
can win
will
the
be
book.
picking a randomer
Mhm.
to win the book, the signed book by Peter. So
Yes.
thank you very much. I have been Vickki Ridgway.
And I've been Geraldine Watson.
And together we have been Lawfully Yours.
And that's a wrap for this episode of Lawfully Yours.
We hope you've enjoyed our deep dive into today's topic. If you've got a burning legal question or a story to share,
Connect with us on social media or drop us an email. We'd love to hear your thoughts and maybe even feature your question on the show.
don't forget to follow Lawfully Yours on your favourite podcast platform. Subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more listeners find us.
Stay tuned for more insights and stories in our next episode. And remember,
Knowledge is power, and we're here to share it. Thanks for listening, and until next time,
stay informed and stay curious.
as always, lawfully yours.